And welcome to this episode of the Comedy Defect Podcast. It is still me, Winter, a man with a microphone in a room talking to you from the past. Like a shit Doctor Who, that's me. Yes, without any fans, without any TV license money, sweet TV license money as Declan Kennedy will know all about. This is episode 28 with Matt Hoss. Now I have met Matt Hoss at Monkey Shine, the University Canterbury gig. Matt Hoss is a master in comedy, and I'm saying that he has done a degree in drama and a master's in comedy. Fair play to him. I talked to him a bit about that. Matt is a lovely fella. We met at Monkey Shine a few years ago, and we've been friends ever since. Such a nice guy. I closed his gig in December. Wasn't many there. I went back to Canterbury University to do a gig, and unfortunately, every fucker had gone home after doing their exams. That's how it goes sometimes. That's how comedy is. Sometimes you play to a full room. Sometimes you play to two people. And then I drove back home laughing to myself, because that's how it is sometimes. As I say, it can be highs and lows in comedy. I talked to Matt a lot during this show, this episode. We talked for at least an hour and a half in my car on a pier. It's quite romantic. It really was. A bit sinister sometimes too. I expected the police to knock on the window and ask us what we were doing at the pier. Because in my day, they would probably knock on the window expecting you to do drugs in the car down on the pier, but not now. You're too busy with Brexit, maybe. Not now. Didn't happen. I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping to have a recording of a policeman knocking on the window going, "What are you doing down the pier?" "Oh, we're recording a podcast for the Comedy Defect." "Oh, the Comedy Defect. We know it well. We listen to it all the time on night shifts." That didn't happen. So this is just me and Matt Hoss having a lovely, quiet time with, not quiet time, we're having a lovely time talking about our feelings. If you don't like people talking about feelings, this is not the episode that you want to listen to. We talk a little bit about depression, but not too much. Matt talks about it. I'm probably just still in denial. We talk about fringe shows. Matt had a fringe show called Vegetarian Man, and he talks about that. We go very deep, actually. This is one of the podcasts which I really enjoyed editing, because we go very deep about talking about ourselves, and what comedian doesn't like talking about themselves. But hey, this is episode 28. Well, I recorded in December after I closed Matt's gig in Margate. We had a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy it. Go find Matt on Twitter. It's at Matt Hoss Comedy. Find him on Facebook, Instagram, all those things. Go and stalk him. He's on Snapchat. He's also on Tinder. Go find him there. Why not? Hey, get closer to him. He's a lovely fella. Now, if you like this podcast and you want to follow us on Twitter, we're there. It's at The Comedy Defect. If you want to follow me, it's at Winter Phonander. We're also on Patreon. Go to Patreon and you can donate as much or as little as you want. But if you can't kick something back to us, just leave us a nice review on iTunes or Podbean, because that really helps. You know, if you like it, why not be honest? But this is episode 28. Also, at Guinness Jokes is in the pipeline now. I've fully moved in with my wife, so I have got things nailed down. I'm more settled. It's happening. Things are moving. It's great. Feels good, you know. I'm not going to lie. I'm enjoying married life. So far, so good. Probably jinxed it now. Well, I'll let you know how it goes. So this is Matt Hoss for episode 28. Happy New Year. I hope you enjoy. Matt Hoss, welcome to the Comedy Defect Podcast. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And may I say that was a slick introduction, Mark Maron-esque. So well done. That was good. I appreciate that. So.
I've been taking a class.
You stay at home, listen to podcasts on repeat.
That's exactly what I've been doing.
That's a full-time comedian for you.
It is.
You put the hours in.
I do. If nothing else, I put the hours in.
Oh, God. That was both accurate and depressing at the same time.
Well, it's great talking to you, whatever your name is. That's great. Great talking to you, Matt. It's good talking to you. So what have you been up to, apart from you passed a master's in comedy?
Comedy, yeah.
A master's, not just a degree. You went the whole hog and got even more debt.
Yeah. Well, actually, I technically go on a bursary, so I'm only 45 grand in debt from a previous drama degree, so that's good.
Oh.
That's good.
It's in.
Yeah, exactly. I thought if I'm gonna really just screw up my life, I might as well go straight in at the deep end. Really, I'm a master of comedy, which is it was a drama specialism at the University of Kent, and I
I love the way you just change into the serious mode now. I've totally wasted my life. But actually, no, let me just explain this to you.
What happened?
How much I've wasted my life.
What happened was it's a comedic response first, then actual defensiveness got in. It's like, no, my parents aren't right, okay? Let me prove them wrong.
That's every comedian's mantra. I'm going to prove every fucker wrong. You're under that much debt, you're being crushed, right? Man, but at this stage, you're under so much debt that you are nearly a diamond. I'm shine bright like a diamond.
That's good. At the end of this podcast, we'll do some karaoke.
That'd be nice. Okay. I'm definitely going to do Avril.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, right. Sorry, I offended you.
No, I'm not for or against Avril. You know, I didn't vote in the last Avril election. You know.
What?
Yeah.
Get out of the studio / car. But watch out for the pier, because we are recording this on a pier right now.
I suggested we should do the pod on a boat, which is right next to us, but apparently that's not the health and safety etiquette anymore, is it?
We like to live on the edge on the Comedy Defect.
Literally. What's quite funny is you were like, get out the studio, now talk about your debt in this car. Genuinely, it's really lovely to be here, so thank you.
I totally hijacked you there.
No.
Tell us more about your debt and prove to me that it was worthwhile doing a master's in stand-up comedy. Well, please tell me,
right.
How did you sell this to your parents?
Genuinely with great trouble. I did my undergraduate degree at the University of Kent. I did drama, joint honours with classics, and in the first week I found out there was a comedy course run by Dr. Oliver Double. He's the first ever person to get a PhD in comedy, and he literally wrote the book on stand-up comedy. He's a very fascinating person. I realised there was a course in stand-up, and at this time I was kind of interested in stand-up. I thought I'd be funny at it, but I never thought of how to do it. Well, I come from Yorkshire, and there's not really that much way of opportunity in the art. So I went down, I saw the 3 Half Pints, who were a slapstick sketch comedy group, and I just saw them perform. I realised there was an opportunity, and I was like, oh my god, I want to do it. So for the next 3 years, I worked towards that. I wanted to do that master's in stand-up comedy. And at Christmas time, my 3rd year, my mum and my brother were like, what are you going to do afterwards? Because, there's not much there. And I was like, but I'm following my dreams. Because my mantra is kind of just follow your passion, do what you believe in. And that's why I did a degree in drama and classics, because I was like, 2 things I enjoy. And it's good, but equally, I just finished my dissertation, and I've moved back in with my mum at the moment. And straight away afterwards, I was like, well, that was pointless, wasn't it? You know, it was good for the experience of being a comedian, but equally, just it was.
Look, you did a degree in drama, right?
Yeah.
So. Why did you not follow the acting route then?
Well, I liked being an actor, and I still like to act in some way. But essentially, as an actor, I think I thought I was good at it because I think I'm really deep. But when I was doing drama at A level and GCSE, at first I didn't get a good mark for it, but I kind of continued it because I enjoyed it regardless. I didn't get good grades, nor did I get good parts either. So I kind of always did the kind of crappy roles, really. I remember I was in my year 13 show, and it was a Christmas play, and I was like, oh, The Sound of Music. Firstly, I can't sing, so I have no idea why I applied for this in the first place, but I was like, yeah, I can get a good speaking role, and I got literally 1 line, and I was like, nah, I'm fine, thank you. And then after that, I kind of wanted to be a director for a while. I had big ideas in my head, really. I was always in love with the idea of comedy, so in some, not necessarily stand-up, but I was in love with just being a comic performer. But what I struggled with in acting and being a theatre director, it takes so long for you to build up a massive. You're doing 1 show, and that might be for, let's say, 90 minutes, or if it's a fringe show, 60 minutes. So much preparation and time and props and organisation and theatre lights and stuff like that. Just for 1 performance, it just felt weird. And I'm very driven as a person, and I like getting things done. And with theatre and in that world, you're always waiting on other people. And drama students are the most irresponsible and unreliable people you can be around, and so that annoyed me in that aspect of I got here on the specific time, but I have to wait half an hour to rehearse, if you know what I mean. So that's why I kind of love stand-up, because you write it, you produce it, and you perform it yourself, and it's all on you. You know, it's high risk, high reward.
totally with you. But so you're saying that you got annoyed with it because the parts you got, you lost hope in that avenue of performance.
Yeah, I suppose so. It wasn't. I didn't necessarily just give up at it.
No, but you realised that you're never going to be the guy, the main lead. You were like, oh man, I'm going to be on the fringe of this. Well, that the whole thing. And now, okay, do you know what? I'm going to be on the fringe of this on my own terms.
Yeah.
And I want to write, direct, perform, all this easily. So basically you want to busk.
Yeah.
Stand-up really is busking, isn't it?
It
like,
is,
doing
yeah.
one gig to, you're going to travel to these gigs, you do like whatever time you're going to do, then you go to this other gig, you're on the road, that's it. You're kind of busking for money, aren't you?
Well, maybe not for money, but for attention and some form of love, yes. You make a valid point there, because what you mentioned is that you're busking, but you're busking, like, you're doing it regularly and often. It takes, like, so much rehearsal for you to do anything in that acting realm. And I remember, to answer the former part of that question, is that I in my year 12 play, we did Oedipus, and that's one of my favourite plays of all time. I love classics and Greek mythology and tragedy.
It's Freudian.
I love having relations with my family. That's who I am.
Not a bad thing. That's where the power comes from, isn't it? Either way, it could be a dark power or a light power.
That has a hidden creepiness set in a car, just in a very darkened car with just us two.
And I realise that my face is totally blacked out because the light is coming from behind me, right?
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah, but it's nice. It's very atmospheric. It feels like an Andy McNab novel.
So that's how you changed tack to go to stand-up comedy. But when did you start thinking that this is something that I want to do? I want to perform. When will you start to think you want to be a performer?
I think I've always been some form of performer. And I always thought I was, as a person, quite weird. I think intrinsically, me and my family are quite strange people. I know everyone says that, but genuinely, they're crazy, very weird human beings, and that's really, it's very me as a person. I always liked not showing off, but just the thrill of just performance. I play guitar and I try to sing, but I can't sing. So in some form of way, I wanted to perform, and I tried loads of different outlets, like music, an actor, a director, stand-up. Once I realised it was an option, it felt very clear that that was the option. I've always been some form of performer. I think it's like a natural spark, if I may say that myself. Well, a natural urge for me to be in front of other people. I think what it stems from. People always ask me, I'm sure you have the same, it's like, oh, stand-up comedy, I don't know how you could do it. I think it's the other way around. For me, my personal opinion, someone doing an office job, I'll be like, well, I don't know how you can do it. I just don't like being a mundane person. I've always feel I was always in the fringe and the margin of society, a weird person, and that's kind of reflected in my life choices, really. So that's far too deep than I anticipated.
No, that's great. Yeah. That's great. I'd like to. That's what I want to know. I want to know your origin story, man. How you thought, no, this is the thing. This is what I need to do. I mean, because it teaches you so much about yourself and what.
Yeah,
go on.
So I think self-reflection is really important as well, because I think in stand-up you kind of get too self-involved, and if you kind of just take a step back and realise wherever you come from. What annoys me is when you've done okay at a comedy gig, it's like, that was fine, but you're kind of beating yourself up because you could have done better. But equally, like, you forget, like, you're doing great, man. Because this is not me saying it to myself, but like just the fact that you're on stage, you're trying to do it, you're trying to work the dream out. Every time you do a gig, it steps away from being a dream to reality. Do you know what I mean? You're trying to make a marble sculpture and figure, and every gig's like a stroke a cut away at it, and it takes a long time to cut away at it and grind it down. But eventually, you're gonna have some form of masterpiece, but it'll never be finished. You're always cutting away at it. Do you know what I mean?
There's a self-loathing.
Yeah.
It's never going to be finished. And there's always going to be something not right about it, but it's not about it. It's about me.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's the great thing about it.
And the marble figure is your own shame as well. There's a depiction just that.
Did you guys get this? Yes, you do. Awesome. There's some semblance of me being normal and be able to function in reality, but this is my reality, but not real reality, because reality is too real. This stand-up reality is the only reality that I can control.
Yeah, and control's a big part of it as well.
Big time. You've got to keep opening yourself up, haven't you? I mean, you're young, like
definitely.
You're 23, is it?
I'm 23 in a couple of days' time.
Oh, nice one, man. Well, happy I've got the first. I'm the first one to wish happy birthday.
Thank you. We'll shake
sorry, we're shaking hands. I need to cabbage that.
We can do that afterwards.
We'll shake hands. Yeah, we just shook hands there, guys. Okay. So that's how you guys are performing, and you run a few gigs around the place as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird place now because obviously this is we're recording in December at the moment. As I say, I've just moved back to Yorkshire and my degree was in Kent where I had all my comedy things. I run a couple of clubs in Canterbury and Margate and one in Rochester as well. They're really lovely gigs. What I've done in the last couple of months is about once a month I've did about like a whole week of them back to back. So I had the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and occasionally a Sunday as well. So 5 days of straight like comedy back to back. Occasionally sleeping in the car, and it's good because it shows that I'm dedicated. But oh man, it's tiring. You know,
You got that comedy callous, man. You need that. You're like, oh yeah, that's the kind of gigs I do. You know, and then that lack of sleep, you'll have some great stuff come up because you'll be just so in the moment with them. You're like, oh god, I'm tired.
For today, we've just finished a gig and a kids gig early today, and
Comedy for kids, right?
Yeah, comedy club for kids. They're genuinely one of the loveliest places ever. Have you done kids comedy?
Where was
before?
that? Which one was that?
It's a slightly new venue called Brixtania in Brixton, and it was like an enchanted forest, and there's a gig in the middle, and it was really lovely, actually. Yeah.
Some really, really creative guys do that comedy for kids stuff, and I'm like, I'm blown away. I saw a gig the other day with those guys, and I was like, wow, that's brilliant. And it's just so inventive, so creative, and so fun. There's nothing but joy in it. There's no misery, no whatever.
That's it. That's the thing. Because you can't be patronising to the kids. And the thing is, a lot of people when they first start doing kids comedy, it's kind of like they try and do something different, and because they're trying to like find relatable material. I wrote brand new stuff for it, which is it's me as a person, but kind of like kid friendly. What's really lovely about it? You're working with professionals. You're working in lovely like venues as well, just in front of a lovely crowd. There's no bad taste with it, you know. The gig we just did in Margate, it's one I run, and the last time I was there, 90% of the room were Trump supporters, not just apathetic towards Trump, but genuinely really support Trump, and they were really just like very bitter people, you know what I mean? But in a kids gig, the worst it can get is that they get too hyperactive and they want to join in a little bit more. It can go a little bit out of control, and you can sometimes not do your set. It's just a lovely gig, you know.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have one older brother called Alex, and he's an energy engineer in Great Yarmouth, and he's the one who makes all the money. So I steal his Netflix account.
Nice.
You know, I'm a good brother.
Big bro, keep sending it back. Keep sending it back.
That's the thing. I mooch off him so much. Like, but you know, once I'm rich and famous, you know, I'd probably forget him. But, well, one of the things about being a young comedian, what's really lovely is that people are always really supportive towards you as well. Because I do try quite hard at this. At the moment, it doesn't feel like I'm going anywhere necessarily. Obviously, I'm getting better at the craft, but it's kind of like, it feels a bit like benign. Everyone's so supportive and helpful because I'm trying to go for a dream. Yeah, until I get to like 30, you know, it just gets depressing, doesn't it, Winter?
Yep. Yeah, it gets. I don't want to crush your already financially ruined dreams. You know, I mean, no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. That's what I'm saying. Just be fine, okay? End quotes. Poster. We'll just say I'll be fine.
Steve Bennett. It's fine. Yeah. In fact, my only Steve Bennett review of January 2015. It was when I was quite fresh, and I was still in the kind of hubristic stage of I'm absolutely quality at this comedy. I brought some friends along, absolutely. Thought, yeah, I'm going to storm it in front of my friends, and all the acts did really, really well. I went up on stage and was like really kind of cocky. I was like, all right, guys, this is going to be easy, and got silence for 5 minutes, and I did a routine about telling my dad I was a vegetarian, and he got angry. And what Steve Bennett put in the review, bearing in mind I died on stage, it was really, really lovely. He was like, mixed results about vegetarianism, Matt Horse. I was like, that was the kindest thing he could have put. So, that's my end poster.
Well, you got a quote from him at least. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
It can only get better than that, can it?
Probably not.
No, it will. It will. Come on. Like, you know, there's plenty of, you know, there's other quotes you can get from other places as well. He's not the king.
What I should do is invite Kate Copstick around, do the same routine to her in the same circumstances, and get a better quote.
She's equally venomous that you need to kind of, like, you need to detooth that beast as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Not calling her a beast, but, you know,
yeah.
you know, you need to just sort of, these things, isn't it? The more you perform in front of these people, the less fear you have of them.
Well, yeah, because I listen to a lot of podcasts in my spare time, and Matt Kirshen makes a really great point in Sophie Hagen's podcast, Comedians Telling Stuff. He says you're always at the bottom of a certain group of comedians, because you can be the king of open mic, but you'll start trickling into, like, middle
pools.
yeah, and it's hard. You have to learn to get good at it, kind of thing. And what's quite nice with the comedians I listen to, especially on like ComCom pods and stuff like that, is that they're still scared of reviewers as much as they try and say, "Oh, I don't read reviews." It's still important. You know what I mean? Reviews are weird, though, aren't they?
You know, it's so subjective. You know, what can you do? It's like this person doesn't like the stuff about vegetarianism, another person likes stuff about it. What the hell? You know, you're doing it for you, not for them, innit? So as long as you can hold on to that joy, going, I'm doing this for me, as well as them, you know, and connect with it on that skewed level of you to them, you're going to be onto a winner, isn't it?
As we joked about, it's like, financially, it's not a great source. You know what I mean? You have to work hard, drive long hours for not much pay. But equally, if it's about money you're doing it for, it's the wrong reason. At the end of the day, you've got to be happy with what you're doing. Your job is to make people laugh.
You talk about your mum in your act as well, and you say that she's funnier than you. Well, is she injected you with the comedy gene, or
no?
It's not gene, is it?
No, that'd be a coincidence. I made a joke about it this evening. My mum's funny. I am quite a quiet person, but I used to be very shy and quiet, and I was always a fly on the wall, do you know what I mean? And I kind of scooped up many circumstances and kind of hoarded this whole realm of, like, weird scenarios and things people have said, and that's what my act really started out as, you know. So it's like something like what weird things people have said around me and situations I've been in. And I think just my mum just says things in the context in her mind. It works quite well, but she doesn't think about what she says, and she just blurts out with something, and it's usually hilarious, if not a little bit offensive. So I think I talk about my mum quite a lot. I think I annoy myself in my material. I usually end the punchline with either talking about my mum or Brexit. One of those two.
But you get on well with your mum, right?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, since living with her now, it's like it's slightly different, and because I have to see her all the time now. So
yes, Christmas as well. You got to.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
You got the present.
I haven't, but it's been a birthday recently. I got her a really good present for that, and I feel. Oh.
What'd you get her?
Well, she really loves Sia, and I got her a shirt saying, "Now you see, and now you don't." It was so good I can't remember it, but she loved it. No, I got her that shirt and she really liked it. I got it from America as well because it took a while to ship. And I thought that'll do for Christmas, won't it? Yeah, that's good enough. And do you have a family?
I do have a family yet.
No, I was born in the test tube.
No, I do have a family yet. I do have a mother yet. She's the I do. Yeah, and it's a difficult one at the moment. I don't want to talk about it too much. We're not getting on, so just don't talk about my mother too much. But yeah, we're not getting on at all at the moment. We just don't see eye to eye on anything. You know, it's like one of those. It's like one of those. It's one of those things when you can't. Every time the same problems keep reoccurring, and there's you're locked into a loop of anger. And I just go in very calm and not patronising, but just like, oh, look, I know something's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to hope that it doesn't, but something will happen.
Yeah.
And then it kicks off.
Yeah.
And there's usually alcohol involved, and it just kicks off. And that so things like that are, at the moment, things aren't going well on that front for the relationship at all. But that's how family is, man.
Yeah.
You know, you know, apart from that, she's great, but that is how it goes.
But I know exactly what you mean, because the teething issues of moving back in with my mum, man, it was like, it's weird, because obviously I grew to having my own independence, and so did she, really, because she divorced from my dad, so she kind of had the house to herself. Basically, there's a lot of family stuff going on at the moment. We got into like big arguments, and the thing I connected with you there is like, you're keeping calm and you're being kind of like... I'm trying to be rational, I'm trying to be logical, but the thing is, she's not thinking anything through. She's speaking emotionally, and she's getting emotional, and I understand that, but you can't really argue against that. And the thing is, I don't think that person is trying to debate. They're just trying to get out their system. There's something that's irked them and made them upset, and they want to take it out. It's not the surface reason, but there's something.
I totally agree with you. Like with that, this is like probably this is a common thing, I think, with family and stuff, because it's you are the son, and you're say if it was a military thing or an army thing, you are the subordinate, the lower in the chain. I am an adult, and they still treat you as a child. But the thing is, you don't want to. You're not asserting yourself. You're just going, oh look, I know that you want to tell me that this is how it is, but you're telling them if they're wrong or right. Not trying to tell them they're wrong or be patronising. Say, look, I don't agree with that. But you're doing it calmly, but they still feel patronised, and they still feel their pride gets hurt.
Definitely.
And then when the pride gets hurt, things go off, and then emotions start flying, and you can't argue with an emotion, but they want to argue to make sure they're in the right.
Yeah, that's it.
And I don't care who's in. I mean, maybe you don't as well. I don't care who's in the right. I just want to get on with my family.
Oh man, we're very similar.
Yeah,
we should move in together, man. But it's exactly that, man. It's just like, it's the thing is, I know I haven't really had that much experience of having a girlfriend personally. In fact, I've had my first proper girlfriend in the summer, but that's finished now. But equally, we never really argued. But I know the thing is, whenever the only proper argument I've had is since moving back in with my mum, and it's kind of taught me quite a lot. It says a lot about me right then. But what's really, it's just like your, how should I phrase it? It's like, I don't care what the outcome is. I just want it to be. It's just everyone to be fine. You know, I don't care. You know, I'm apathetic, and but there's something irking them, and they want to just. And it's like I don't care. Just let's just get on, kind of thing. Because I'm, as you can probably tell, I'm quite a laid back person as it is, and I would never do anything to intentionally upset someone. And the fact that people want to argue with me is
it's like let's just drop this emotional tie bow that you want to kick off with. We don't need that. We don't need this. Why do we need to hammer it out? We know it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, isn't it? It's such a waste of energy.
Yeah.
And you're just you're going. I've been gigging all week. I don't have the energy for this right now. I just want to go to bed, and have some tea.
What's quite funny about that is that, as you said that, my mum's voice came in my head, and I know what her response would be as well, and she'd be like, well, you know, I've been working all week, but I've still done the dishwasher, man, and it's like, but I don't know, it's just, well, I feel like we might be having, like quite, guy responses towards it, you know, just like,
No, yourself. I think you're self-aware. I mean, we're all got different programming, and it's not. If you're aware and kind of going, look, I don't want to fight about this. Well, whatever it is, whatever situation is. I mean, this could be universal. This could be a microcosm of another larger problem. But it's like you're kind of going, well, look, you know, let's just. Well, okay, I'll learn from it. I'll move on. But they never gets. The thing is that sometimes it never gets you can never fix that because they build up. And that happens in any relationship, to be fair.
Yeah.
Parents, wives, girlfriends, you name it, boyfriends. It doesn't matter. It all builds up and then blows if you can't fix it. Because if it's a recurring problem and something that's never can be solved, and if there's other intoxicants or whatever is involved, it can really magnify a problem. It's like adding fuel or petrol to a fire. You know.
I remember my first experience with that was with my now ex-girlfriend, and there was something I did. I made a comment about something. She just accepted it at the time, and it wasn't anything bad. I think it was along the lines of she was into the idea of spirituality and ghosts and mediums, stuff like that. And I made a joke about it, but then about a couple of months later, she brought it up, and I was like, "Whoa, where did that come from?" You know, she must have been harbouring onto it, you know, really holding on to it, just really and have you seen Friday Night Dinner by any chance?
No.
It's a fantastic series sitcom. Well, it's not really a great anecdote, but there's a character called Mr. Morris who appears, and he's like one of the most hilarious characters ever. He's basically this old man who's dating the family's grandmother, and he's just a horrible man. Basically, one of the grandkids makes a joke at his expense. He's a little bit angry to begin with, but at the end of the program, they don't really dwell on it that much, but at the end of the program, he starts shouting at the kid when when it's all going crazy. He starts shouting at the kid, replying to what he just said, and so you can see this guy's been holding on to it, and it's a really beautiful character development as well, because it's it's very undervalued shot as well, because you can see this guy just been holding on to this burst of anger, and that's everyone, you just hold on to these little gems and basically like tokens where he's like, okay, you said that, I can use that against you later on, and
shove those feelings down.
Yeah,
and just just wait until you just completely blow your top altogether. Just don't let it out.
That's one way out. But yeah, I don't know, just
or just drink it away, utterly destroy yourself with alcohol, or any intoxicant. Just forget.
Me as a person, I've always been kind of wanted to really be in love. As a person, I've always been quite the romantic. That sounds like such a...
No, you're allowed. You're stuck. You're... Look, dude, you did a degree in drama. You're allowed to be a romantic.
I have preferred a monologue from Shakespeare. You're going to enjoy it.
And continue.
But,
would a rose be as sweet?
Winter, I've wrote you a sonnet, okay?
Mate, you mean so much to me. Oh, thanks, man.
Wait till Valentine's Day. It's going to be emotional.
Oh, mate, it's already emotional right now. It's great. And so, a sonnet, wow, I feel so special.
Yeah, 14 Lands of Wonder. I've always wanted to be in love. I was always, crazy about girls when I was 18, but when I went to university, I kind of learned how to speak to girls and how to behave. Not behave in it's just how to function like a human being in front of girls. You know what I mean? And just treat them with respect and
Trump, right?
Yeah.
Like
Trump I learned a lot from the guy. Say what you want about him, but his table etiquette is fantastic.
Some moves, that guy. But so, do you get on with your dad?
I do now, but I had massive issues with him as a person. Essentially, the divorce was kind of his fault for being an alcoholic, really, and I kind of blamed him for that. To begin with, we don't really have all that much in common. For example, when I call him up, we talk about Bruce Springsteen and the weather, and that's it. He likes cars and football. I don't. But
when Bros dies, man, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I know.
That's it. You're in real trouble.
Yeah.
Weather.
Yeah.
You have to really do your research. Global weather, you're going to have to be on all day.
Yeah. Well, if Trump gets rid of, climate control, maybe we'll have a lot to talk about. So
this is true.
Yeah.
Horrific weather.
Silver lining. I never really, got all liked football. In fact, I remember... one day, my dad took us all out to watch Leeds United, who's his favourite football team. We went there to Ellen Road to see a football game, and I had no interest. I was bored. And then it was like, that's it. And I was like, all right. I stood up from the seat. I was like, all right, let's go. And go, no, Matt, it's half time. We've got another 45 minutes. I was like, oh, for God's sake! I was 28 at the time, so...
Did your dad have your mittens on, with the mittens with the string around the back as well, so you don't lose the other one?
No,
28.
My dad didn't care enough about me.
Oh.
No.
Did you get a Savoy or a pie or anything to the football match? No pie? No pie in Leeds, what?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I was quite a fat kid, so probably...
Vegetarian though, right?
No, for the first 20 years of my life, I was meat eater. My family, I come from beef farmers, because I wrote a comedy show about... essentially coming out to my parents being a vegetarian whilst they're beef eaters, beef farmers and meat eaters, and I did the whole show in a barn.
Wow!
I made that.
And what happened? How did that go?
Do you mean in terms of the show?
In terms of the real life thing.
Well,
both actually.
I always wanted to be a vegetarian. Just spoiler alert for the listener: I am currently a vegan. I've been a vegan since May, so that's fun. Me and Winter were talking off mic earlier about how amazing mint imperials are. It's a vegan snack for the people.
Sad.
Better than a burger.
It's fucking sad. Sorry, man. Matt, I'm sorry. It's not better than a burger.
Mate,
there are not many things better than a decent burger.
I mean, I don't want to say you can treat yourself.
Go for it.
And it's like brushing your teeth, but you don't have to.
Okay.
Can you do that with a burger? I don't think so, mate.
Can I brush my teeth with a burger? Yes.
Well,
I can brush my teeth after a burger.
That's a good point, actually.
What? Right, okay, understand it, right. I understand the vegan thing, but you wear leather shoes.
No.
Okay. Well,
I know,
those flip-flops are cold this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, I am freezing my tits off.
That jumper?
It's cotton, so...
Right.
That's the thing, I double-check, for because at the moment I'm building a show about morality, and it's about focusing in all aspects of morality, and one of the acts I have to do is give up silk, any type of fur, even if it's faux fur, because my mission statement is that even the idea of fur being fashionable is weird, isn't it? And it's I don't know.
The 80s. Fur was very fashionable back in the 80s.
Was it? Leopard print, that's what I was thinking.
Well,
yeah.
if you look at all the Playboys,
Yeah.
fur was very fashionable back then.
I've been meaning to give them back to you, by the way. So. Yeah, my mum accepted it straight away, so I don't really tell that story on the live show. So the show is based off...
Damn you, Mum, ruining my comedy.
Yeah, I know, right? She features in it heavily, because I didn't take the show to the Fringe, but I did it in lots of other... I didn't take it to Edinburgh Fringe, but I took it to loads of different other Fringe festivals, because I was writing my master's dissertation during Edinburgh, so I did it at other ones. The show, essentially, the first 20 minutes is about... me as a person, and basically setting up some callbacks for later on. Classic. But then the next 40 minutes is about three main stories of telling my dad about being a vegetarian, then my beef farming grandparents about it, and then my brother. And those are the three main stories, and after that I talk about the after effects of being a vegetarian and why I did it and the emotional ramifications of it. And there's a little bit of a sad moment, and then a fantastic ending. Mixed results material, see Bennett. I did the show just to get practice at doing that hour-long show. I didn't count as a debut show, if you know what I mean. I did it as a just something, because it was something I wanted to talk about, and I felt that was important. I did it on IAF, and that was the last. That's International Youth Arts Festival in Kingston. What was weird, I both had the highest highs and the lowest lows that week, because I did 5 shows. The first one, I properly died. There was 4 people there. In all fairness, the room wasn't great, but to cut a long story short, there's 4 people there, and to die over the course of an hour, I started off quite well.
Don't cut it short. I want to hear about this really painful bit. Yeah, okay. Did you cry?
Oh no, but
you felt like it, right?
Because I don't really cry that often.
Just shove the feelings down, mate. I'm the same. Shove them down.
Well, I think I'm quite an emotional person. I get upset often, but for some reason I just don't cry.
It's murder.
Basically, it was a high stage, and basically it was a place called the library, which was lovely. It was a high stage, and I was on top of it, and there was only 4 people, and they were in low chairs, so I was kind of looking down on them, right? And it kind of created this instant disconnection with
exactly.
And basically, and also it was during the daytime, about 5 o'clock, and there was behind me was a panel of Kingston, the High Street, and basically a light shined in behind me, and it was quite distracting, if you know what I mean. The next day we covered it all up, so it was black, so it's more of a black box kind of thing, and it went so much better.
There's no sense of occasion if you've got stuff going on behind you. It's like,
yeah.
what's that? And then that extra height as well with 4 people there, that is like, and it's called a library.
Yeah. Well,
sorry, the library.
It's some kind of trendy bar.
Sitting there going, we better not talk in here. Okay, we're not allowed to talk. Can we laugh? You just said, this is a library, guys. Yeah, it's not really a library. It's called the library, but this is, we're here for joy and laughter.
No. I kind of gave up. Well, I didn't give up. I did it to the end, but I was just like, but that. I thought that there's an emotional bit at the end, and I was like, I got to the point where I was like, I didn't want to do this. And one of the women who kind of came and saw me was one of her daughter was in my show, and I just started chatting to them both, and they're both really nice. And she's like, oh yeah, I'll come along and see your show. And I remember, the thing that sticks with me from that gig the most is in about the 50-minute mark where the emotional thing is happening, she just had her head in her hands, just looking like. Just glazed, so just looking like, when is this going to finish? And I was like, oh no, it's bad. So I kind of went home very defeated that day, but I did the show the next day. It was pretty good. The following day, I did it, and oh my god, it was amazing. It was probably one of my favourite gigs I've ever done in my life. It was my first solo show. That was the first time where everything worked. They were on my side. They got everything. felt one of the best things I've ever felt in my life as a comedian. I was like, this is the moment. This is like, it was a milestone. I then, the next day, it was cancelled. Lack of people coming in. And then the last one was a disappointment. But, it was a mixed result that week. But equally, it was... I had a nice time all the same.
But it's like that, the day before you didn't do well. Mm-hmm. The next day, you're like, well, look, what I got to lose? It can only be better than that last gig. Yeah. But, so it's like you can reach that relaxed sort of like, oh, look, okay, guys.
Well, actually, I was actually more nervous about it.
Right.
Well, the thing is, I'm always very doubtful about it, because even the show I'm writing in the moment, it's like, well, maybe it's not going to be funny. And I was like, when I was there, I was like, oh... at this festival, and I felt quite serious. Like, whoa, maybe the show isn't funny. Maybe maybe I've just been lucky for the last couple of times, and it felt. I was like, well, tomorrow's make or break, really, because I was like, well, if it doesn't work this time, there's something majorly wrong with the show. There's something I'm doing wrong here. But fortunately, it worked quite nicely. Again, I think there was about seven or eight people in that time, and there was a couple of people just taking a punt at it, and I was like, thank you, it's genuinely helping me out, yeah. It was highs and lows. For the other festivals, it went down pretty nicely as well, and my previews went down nicely as well, so I was generally quite happy with the end result. In fact, I'm getting quite reminiscent talking about it, to be honest.
Okay, that's like your origin story, really, that show, is it?
Yeah, I guess it's more, the first 20 minutes is like, me as a person, not necessarily my history, but just how I define myself, really. And then the story about myself. And I'll kind of go back to answer the question we kind of digressed from earlier. But that's the kind of package of the show, kind of saying this is me as a person, and it finishes with who I am right now. And there's themes of loneliness and being single and stuff like that, because the emotional climax is basically it's called Vegetarian Man. In the latter half of the show, basically being seen as a vegetarian made me less of a man, and I tried to reclaim that manliness through different acts and deeds, and I failed those acts and deeds, and I was best man at a wedding, and basically it was a mixture of the sadness of being a vegetarian and the sadness of being single, but then everything turned out all right at the end. So I performed at a vegan festival at the whole show, and it was the first audience that just went oh during all the bits where I usually get punchlines. I was like, well, no, laugh please. But
they felt they were with you at least, and they like oh, I totally get that.
Yeah, definitely. That was it.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I had to tell my friends as well. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I remember after a gig in Hastings, did the show.
What were they like? That's an interesting place to play, isn't it?
Well, it was the Hastings Comedy Fringe Festival, and it was the first night of it ever happening, first ever debut night. And I was allowed to rehearse my material, but I was like, fuck it, let's just, I want to just help out. And it was a really good show, but equally, it was people walking past, and it wasn't a great room either. So I kind of I kind of changed the room before I went on, just make it a little bit easier, and sat people down at the front. And I MC'd it to begin with, so I didn't do the full length for the show, I had to cut bits out. But the MCing helped it go down wonders. And what happened at the end is a really beautiful moment. As I held the bucket out, people they put money in, and they gave me a hug as well. I was like, that was really kind of a touching moment, you know what I mean? And because I'm very honest on stage as well. And Dave Bailey, who's a Kent comedian, he's seen me do comparing. He's seen me do a normal 10-minute set. When he saw that, because we did a preview together, and once he saw that set, it was like, the difference between you as a comedian here is you're really taking the time to reflect upon yourself and be honest and really share that. And I think that's one of my strengths, to be honest.
Vulnerability.
Yeah.
Greatest strength. It's everybody's greatest strength, but they don't realise that. When you first start going at this, I mean, even myself now, I'm like, well, I used to go at it I was all going at it comedy all wrong. I was going at it too aggressive, full of energy. I'm always full of energy. But it's like you're putting the energy into the wrong thing. People don't want that. It's overpowering. It's too much, and they think that they don't want to be this stuff forced in their ears. They want to enjoy the show. There's energy in the right places, of course. Save it for those places.
In fact, I remember a time we were gigging together at Monkey Shrine Comedy Club in Canterbury, and one of the things I took away from that night, and you were very full of sage advice and wisdom. It's I'm
really full of shit.
You were totally stoned that night.
Totally, man. It's like, hey, man, it's all about the universe. It's all about the Big Bang, man. You know, it first started there. The Milky Way, man.
But I remember you saying you kind of have to play the room you have in front of you. So if you just want to, remember, if you just want to have the mic in the stand, that gig, do it. You have to play the energy level you're at and the audience is at, and there's no point being false about it. You can't be like, hey, everyone have a nice night, when every actor's died so far. You know what I mean? You have to, and I think that's like, not to be boastful. And I don't mean it in a boastful manner either.
Love it.
I mean, like, one of my strengths is, I think, is me being a compere, because I think I'm very self-aware. I kind of know how to. I'm quite a warm person, I like to think, and I think that kind of gets people going quite often.
It's true.
And I think
that's what the ladies say. What?
I wish we to, but they don't. In fact, this is a podcast, so I can't really say it on here. But well, we mentioned love earlier, and I think genuinely, a person, the only person that really would understand me trying to do this is probably genuinely another other comedian. Now, I don't mean in the way that I can only fancy other comedians, but I mean they understand. You know, I would love a comedy girlfriend. You know what I mean? But also you would never really imagine the ego, man. Imagine how much ego in the same
What's your Twitter?
My Twitter?
Yeah.
At Matt Hoss Comedy.
There you go, ladies. At Matt Hoss Comedy.
Just tweet me a joke or a dick pic. What do you want? Sorry.
Well, it depends on what you want looking for, isn't it?
Yeah,
dick pic. You want a dick pic? Okay, well, or a request for a dick pic, maybe, or if that's what you want.
No.
What is it you want? What is it? The ladies, right?
Yes, please.
Right, that's fine. We've got to nail that down.
Yeah, sorry. Do you know how that was so me? Then I was like, ladies. Yes, please.
Very polite. Have the etiquette, please. I like that. It's good.
Well, I did do a bit, which I did it once, but I haven't really got back to it yet. But I don't understand dick pics. I won't do the routine or anything, but I just
not into them. Not either.
I just what's the point of it though? It's because no guy has ever sent a picture of their genitals and the lady's gone, oh yeah, that's what I want right now. You know what I mean? Especially if it's a girl you don't know as well. It's just invasive, isn't it? So, could you put it away now, please? It's really it's disgusting, you know.
Well, Matt, I'm sorry. It's how I do all my podcasts. I know, no, but seriously, no. I honestly just got to tell you, I've never ever sent a dick pic.
Yeah. Oh. This is something I've never told anyone ever before. I have, but she very much demanded it, and it was one of the weirdest evenings of my life, because I chatted to this girl on Tinder. I almost said the name then, but I definitely can't. She was on Tinder, and it was quite strange, because she was quite overly keen to begin with, and I was like, I'm used to to nothing on Tinder, but she was really kind of keen. She was laughing at my jokes and stuff like that, and she was like, "Oh, add me on Snapchat and stuff like that." And I was like, "I don't really have Snapchat," but she's like, "Oh, download it; it'll be fun." Then she made a joke and she goes, "Oh, feeling a little bit horny now." I was like, "Haha," but inside I was like, I'm uncomfortable with this. What's happening here? Then on Snapchat, she started sending me all these nude pictures and videos of her masturbating and stuff like that. Whoa. And I was like, this never happens to me, you know. I've got so many anecdotes I'm gonna tell you, but this one I was like, this is strange, and she's like, oh, send me something, and. I had Snapchat, and I just re-downloaded it, and I had loads of all my old contacts. So I tried to take a picture. I was like, I don't know how, I suppose erect, but I don't know what's.
There's not really. I mean,
what's
maybe I'm a prude, right? I probably am, right? But you just go, look there, it's there.
Yeah,
there you go. It's
because it's not from my point of view. It's just it's not an attractive set piece. Yeah, because the guy that plays Samuel Tarly in Game of Thrones, he talks about this on Screw His Pips podcast. I can't remember his name. I think it's Jonathan. And I apologise. He talks about in Game of Thrones there's a lot of nudity and not much male nudity, because it's in a shot. It's the male piece is quite small, so if you're going to show it, it's going to be quite a big picture, and that's not quite. It's not much going on there. You know what I mean?
No, there's so much. There's no. there's not really much accessories to go with the
That's
male
you know,
genitals. It's like, okay, there's your balls and it is Johnson, it is Wang, whatever it is. But it's like what the fuck? What is? It's just hanging there, doing nothing.
But I feel like there's a. In terms of male genitalia, they've only got the one. We have a set piece, but with a female body, you've got a lot of things going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's probably more diplomatically put than the
women
section,
are sexy.
the section we've just edited out.
So if it is edited out,
that's great. No, I think
there's lots of good stuff in there.
You've done well there. You've really done well with that explanation. I applaud that.
Thank you. I'm a feminist. I'm proud.
That's good. And a vegan.
You
get every base covered. What the fuck is going on? Why?
Environmentalist.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fight and win the war on drugs. I'm trying to be like the most kind person.
But you don't know your enemy.
Yeah.
How does that work? You need to know your enemy.
And I've never even taken any drugs in my life.
So you need to know your enemy.
I was tempted in the show just to try every drug once, but I thought that could be a stand-up show in itself. So I thought, put a pin in that, Matt.
Or a needle.
Yay! Drunky. What was I was halfway through the story.
Talking about women.
Oh no!
And how amazing they are, and you've sent a dick pic.
Oh, that was it. Yeah. So I sent the. Oh, I'll finish off the story. There's not much to it, and I'm sorry if my mum listens to this, or any future prospect of a girlfriend. Yeah, please do send me those tweets. I'm very long. But
Matt Hoss comedy.
But please. but so I sent the dick pic, but very I had to be careful. Because I had my brother and loads of friends on that, to be careful to pick the right one. So I was paranoid as well. I was like, I gotta do it. So I sent it over. It wasn't very flattering. And bearing in mind, she sent me something.
Did you warm it up first?
She was. We did phone sex as well whilst Snapchatting. So it was quite an awkward affair as well. Yeah. There's a lot of technology going on, and I wasn't sure how to do it. Then stuff concluded. And she was
a sexy way to put the climax.
Yeah, well, no, I think mine was more accurate. It was it's done. And she was like, "Oh, you want to pick me up for dinner and we'll go out sometime?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." But I was genuinely intimidated by her at the same time. It's and this never happened to me before. I'm not used to this. We said, "Oh, maybe not tonight because we're a bit tired after that." But why don't we up tomorrow? And it's like, "Yeah, that sounds great." Never heard from her since.
It's quite unnerving, I guess. She's got a picture of you and video. And...
Well, it's Snapchat, so it's hopefully it's not recorded. But
that's fine.
Equally, maybe there's a fringe show if she does come out with it. So.
Perhaps, yeah, that's it. My dick pic nightmare.
And then I sent a picture at the end of the show. I sent a picture to all the audience members, a picture of my dick. So.
It's fair.
That's good, right?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good ending.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a knob gag at the end.
Yes, yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
It's a knob gag all the way through, I suppose.
Naked, and hopefully no one comes up and hugs you. God. Oh, Matt. Oh.
That would be the worst. Actually, let's scrap that idea. I don't like that.
That's not good because you just no, it's fine. No, it's always like that. What was it? What is there something weird about it? Oh, great. Okay, great. Now I've got to go see the doctor. Fantastic. That just adds to my hate of myself. Wonderful. That's great. I'm not normal. I knew it. I was never normal. I knew it. So I'm just projecting right now.
Yeah, I could tell. I hadn't asked a question in 25 minutes, mate. You just.
Thanks for listening, mate. Thanks for coming.
I should ask you some questions, Winter.
Okay.
How are you? Whereabouts are you out in comedy at the moment?
Out here.
Wait, there's a hand gesture on the audio.
That's my shoulder.
Podcast.
That's my shoulder there, you know.
Yeah.
Where am I in comedy? Jesus. I am in the process of writing my hour show.
Yeah.
And I am actually delving further into my brain than I ever have before. And I'm really pulling out all the stuff that makes me tick, and real personal stuff, really personal stuff to me, like the stuff that you saw me do tonight. That's all true.
No, but that was what I meant to say to you. With that new material, it was great because you're obviously a very lovely person, but equally you could kind of see it as a kid. It's and there was not in a bad way, but I mean it's just there's a lot of darkness there, not. but it's also very funny. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot going on
There's
there.
a lot to play with. I know,
Yeah,
it
definitely.
really is. I mean, that's where I'm coming from now. Like all the stuff I've got now, I butchered it tonight, but like all that stuff is really like, because I'm trying to get raw with it, you know, and slow it down, because comedy for me used to live in the big show. Now it doesn't live in the big show anymore for me. It lives in the minutiae of the whole thing, and just like this is it. And I really stand behind everything I say now. I don't I knew that guy Rob didn't really like what I was doing, because I could see it in him. You know, he didn't like it. I could just sense it from him. He did not like what I was doing. I could feel it. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
But the other people who were proper audience were there. But anyway, this is getting but as I say, that's where it's lived now, and I'm really developing that. Especially even stuff about my mum, I'm really bringing out. There's even a tone in like, there's even a demeanour now when I'm at a gig, right, and seeing you, Matt. And it's like, and see everyone else around me, I'm like, I'm going to sit in the corner. I've got a gig there. I just want to. I like people, but like, I'm not going to go, hey man, you know, I'm not. Hey, how you doing, man? It's good to see you. You know, and like other people, I'm not fucking. I used to see I can see myself before. I'd be running to people, kind of going, "Oh man, please like me." As a normal person, like, and I wanted something. I didn't know what it was from them, but I wanted their friendship, but because I didn't have much of that when I was a kid, or even as an adult, but I needed that for some reason to make me feel like a normal human being. Because I didn't have that from when I was a very young. I really didn't have any friends. I know this is anyway.
No.
But,
It's just really interesting.
But that's the thing. So I've just separated myself, because I've always been. I did a few writing sessions with people, and some people said you're angry about a lot of things, Winter. This is the Winter that I present to the world, the happy guy. I don't want to present the fucking miserable, lonely, hopeless guy, and the guy that despairs, who doesn't think that he needs anyone, who's set up so many walls but put this out. And I was like, oh my God, that's why my comedy didn't go as far as it was going, because this person isn't real.
Yeah.
This is a construct for society to throw it away. This person is the real person. And that's why now my comedy, personally, has become so much better for me. And I'm just like, look, this is what I'm doing. I've got this stuff and this is funny. You can like it or not, but I know it's funny. I know there's something in here and I'm being real. And if you can't connect with me being real, fuck it, you're in the wrong place. You know?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I totally, wholeheartedly, everything you say there was like, you get me down to a T, really. And, well, one of the jokes I'm doing at the moment, and it's what I love, it's because it's, I say it's real. I talk about when I start first. When I thought I might be gay for a while, and
that was interesting. That was really, because it's real.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was talking about. Well, I say it was it's a big laugh, one of my biggest laughs of the night, and it's a material that it keeps on working and working. And then the premise is that I used to think I might be gay because girls didn't fancy me, so I thought, yeah, probably just gay then. The things I did on stage before about a couple of months ago was the things I thought were funny, but the thing is that the way that came about, I was just having a conversation with someone that kind of slipped out, and they were because it was just unfiltered me, and not like in like kind of a uncensored way, but it was me just being myself, just like there was no other contaminant there, and I think. Although I'm an honest comedian, I'm not always honest to myself, do you know what I mean? And it's important to kind of find the things that make you tick. So that, I have loads of weird thoughts, and the person I talk to most is my own, like mine. I talk to myself, not in like, I don't believe it's any like, mentally issues kind of way, but or mental health or anything. But it's just it would explain a lot. But equally, I do most of my kind of debating and thinking, and there's different layers to my thoughts. You know what I mean? Like, now this is something I really haven't told anyone. Like, I have like a little racist inside of my mind, because I'm a very left wing person, I'm very liberal. But if I have like a little bit of my dad in me, and just like oh look, it's a black person. I'm like, no, why are you saying that? Like there's a little part of me it's just like, hey, check that out. And it's like, that's very inappropriate. Why would you say that? But it's still there. You know what I mean? I'm still talking to myself, and I drive in gigs, and afterwards, I think about it, and I just I kind of answer it in my own head, and it's kind of its own. It's just I kind of the person I hated for a long time was myself, but recently I've just learned to kind of love myself, because it's like, what's really kind of weird is I thought I make myself laugh too much. You know what I mean? I laugh things off really, because yeah, I talked about this last night on stage. It wasn't really funny, but I think I laughed so hard at it. So I slept in my car the other night, and I woke up. I was like a mess. I had tufts of hair hanging out. I looked a mess. I bleary-eyed, just like I had no coffee. You know, washed my balls in the sink. You know, it was kind of like, it was a bit of a mess. And I went out. I bumped into my ex-girlfriend's mum, and she kind of gave me this look of scorn. I was like, oh, I think my ex has won out of both of us. Laughed straight, laughed loudly to myself. So.
Have you watched that Westworld?
I haven't.
Series?
I know what it's about, but I haven't seen any episodes. But I know the premise of it.
It's quite good. There's a bit in there which was talking about facing who you are as a person, and it's really interesting how deep it's very deep, all the premises behind the whole thing.
Because it's about people going to a video game land, and you can do what you want, and you can have sex with robots and or kill people or do good deeds. Is that the premise?
That's it. And you talk about morality,
and
how they have to. There's one of the guys who owns the world or runs the world and programs these hosts, these robots. He has started to filter into their programming, trying to make them self-aware. And there's a part was one of the hosts or robots that she becomes self-aware. And it's really interesting how they highlight that realization of self. It's really, really deep. It's really good. I really enjoyed the final episode, but you got to check it out.
Yeah,
it's really good to watch.
I heard the ending is amazing.
It is really good. I was like, wow, that is so poignant. And I was like, watch this, go, wow, it just really struck a chord. But very, very well written. We're talking about, we got pretty deep in this.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's nice. Apart from recording it on podcasts, when else do we get to speak about it? Do you know what I mean?
It's true.
Literally, as you probably noticed all the way through, I was like, oh, here's something I've never told anyone, because I've had no one to tell it to. You know what I mean? I could say it on in fact, I tell the most I tell most of my stories on stage, which I wouldn't say to people in real life. Do you know what I mean? And we mentioned earlier talking about the really horrible stuff as well. And what I was going to mention at the time is that in my new show, I'm the worst thing that's genuinely ever happened to me. It's the thing that made me the most viscerally the most horrendous thing that's ever happened to me. I think about talking about it in the show because it means quite a lot to me. But equally, it's a big deal. If you know what I mean. So I'm trying to just find the comedy in it at the moment, because at the moment I'm still emotionally attached to it. So it's a little bit like. It's just
too raw at the moment. Trying to separate yourself a little bit from it.
I think I can discuss it on stage, but I'm afraid of the consequences of talking about it.
What is it?
It sounds way worse than it is, but it's just basically.
It's a dick pic again, is it?
Yes, hoisted by my own petard.
Yeah.
Without getting into it too much.
All right. Okay, that's fine. I'll push you on it.
No. Well, I'll give you the. I can't. Well, I won't say too much about it, but essentially, I unintentionally hurt someone massively, like someone who I thought I loved, and it was just irredeemable kind of thing.
Okay.
But it's the show I'm doing about morality. It starts off with me living with my mum, and because it starts off with me just talking about depression as well. And again, I've literally had no one to talk to about depression as well, because I've had it since I not graduated, since I finished my dissertation and I was living at home, and I've just moved to Yorkshire again and started comedy. And it was like the most bleakest couple of months of my life because I just finished a degree where honestly it's quite pointless. Like no one's going to hire you to do a job where you've got a master's in comedy doing. I broke up with my girlfriend around that time as well, and I had like a massive existential crisis as well. Like I read Watchmen, and I just realised, life's quite pointless, isn't it? Not in a suicidal way, but I was just like, everything we do is meaningless. And so I talk about that to begin with. Again, but I haven't really talked about that to anyone else. So I start off the show with that, and then I talk about the reasons why I want to do something nice and kind for the world, and that's where it all begins. But I'm thinking about doing the heartbreaking thing towards the end. So it's like the thing of like emotional... the reason why I'm doing all of it is kind of, but again, it's kind of hard for me to talk about, and I'm not sure if I should talk about it either. So, I'll try it in a couple of previews. Yeah.
If that's what it's emotional and raw, you got to talk about it. If you feel you should, go for it, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, what gigs you got coming up? Is it you just chilling? Chilling to the end of the year? Look, we got to wrap. We got. But that's great. Honestly, Matt, I could talk to you a lot more about the Keeper stuff, but.
Should we? Well, let's line up towards the end of the podcast. But the thing is, just to put a cap on that, just to let you know, just at the moment, I'm feeling great, man. Like,
good,
like
man.
obviously, you can go back any time, but I just like life's been good at the moment. You know what I mean? And one of my favourite songs of all time is "Float On" by Modest Mouse, because it kind of teaches you just to. Shit happens, but if you're in a good place, you can be in a happy state of mind. But gigs coming up, Monday coming up, I'm doing Hilarity Bites with Neil Jolly. Last time I did his gig, I died on my arse, so I need to do good for this time. It's a little bit quiet until after Christmas, but after then I'm doing like festivals next year, like Glasgow International Comedy Festival, where I'm doing Vegetarian Man and a work in progress in a new show. And Swindon Fringe of the new show, and doing Hastings Comedy Fringe, and also doing a live version of my podcast called the Drunken Comedian Podcast, where you featured in the pilot episode, which is good.
On.
You were very good. I'm not sure if you listened to the start of it, but there's a really awkward joke I start on. I thought, I'm going to open a podcast of that, It was good. So I'm just doing those gigs. Going to do Edinburgh Fringe 2017, maybe Brighton.
Busy.
Good. You gotta keep busy. As we the theme of the show has been like self-doubt, really, and I always been like, when's the best time to go to the Fringe? Should I do it? Should I save it for a year? But equally, fuck it. That's just only way I can get better is by doing it. Even if I hate. Well, I don't. Hopefully, it won't be a bad show. But if it's a good show, hopefully it'll get me a bit of a reputation. So. You can call me Daniel Kitson, everyone. So Daniel Kitson times by Stuart Lee. That's my comedy output right there. And how about yourself? What gigs have you?
It's about the same. I'm going to be doing loads of fringes this year in 2017. Every festival I'm going to apply for and go for it. That's what I'm doing. I've got my first, full hour to come up, and then I'm going to road test it with that.
Apologies if this has been on the podcast before, but. So, in terms of your hour-long show, have you got a title for it? And have you got a premise?
Not just for Christmas.
Oh, nice one. Oh, yes. Oh, strong stuff. Yes, I like it. And it should be a picture of you being a dog. That's
Yeah, maybe. A little bone in my mouth. I've gone to dick pics again. Why is that? Why is that? Why? Anyway.
There's a lot of themes, and dick pic is one of them in this podcast. Sorry.
It's been good. It's been real, man. I prefer that, you know what I mean? Because, like, the more you do these, the more you can't just kind of be the big showbiz. You got to just be yourself.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think you can get way more out of people if you're just yourself.
You're honest, that's it. And that's it. It got to be. What's the point in being a dickhead?
Well, that's it.
Or being like, fake and all the fakery, man. I love comedy, but, be real. Be real.
I might be incorrect, but I like to think the person I am off stage is relatively similar to the person I am on stage. In terms of tonal differences, but yeah. Yeah,
you are, man. You're exactly the same. Exactly. It's a warm, nice, lovable guy you are. That's it. No, that's snug. Hey, Matt. Look, thanks for Matt Haas. At Matt Haas Comedy.
Yes. Send those flirty tweets in, please.
Thanks for coming on The Comedy Defect. I've really enjoyed it, man. It's been real.
Thank you for having me, man. Should we cabbage it?
Do it.
Let's cabbage it.
Boom.
And that was at Matt Haas Comedy for episode 28. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed talking to Matt. We went pretty deep. Not so sexual sounding now, which is good. I thoroughly encourage that. Matt is a really lovely fella. Go find him on Twitter. Go find him on Facebook. He's at Matt Huss Comedy on Twitter. Go find him on Tinder. He might send you a present. Next week, we've got episode 29 with a very special guest. I will be telling you that guest on Monday next week. If you like this podcast, you can follow us on Twitter. It's at The Comedy Defect. If you like me, you can follow me at Winter Phonander. I'm also road testing a fringe show which is called Not Just for Christmas, which I'll be ironing the creases and hammering the kinks out of from now until August. So I'll be working on that for the next 8 months. Killing it, hammering it. Come see the show. Come help me out. I need an audience because it doesn't work on its own in a vacuum. You can find those dates on my website, which is winterphonander.com. Just go to the events page and you can see all the live previews, work in progress, bits there. I haven't had a chance yet to do the at Guinness jokes because I've been doing lists. I've found out that being married is just a series of lists that you've got to get through. And I'm nearly there. This week, I'll be attacking that Guinness Encyclopedia. And I look forward to you retweeting. Yes, retweeting. You got to do something. Come on, guys, help me out here. Or liking. Liking really doesn't do much, but just retweet it. Come on, I need this. I need this. You got to make it seem worthwhile. It's a big book. Come on, work with me, okay? You can find those jokes. That is encyclopedic jokes at Guinness Jokes. Find that on Twitter. If you like this podcast and you want to donate to us, go to Patreon, type in The Comedy Defect Podcast and donate as much or as little as you want. But if you can't kick something back, leave us a nice honest review on iTunes or Podbean or wherever you get your podcasts. You know, why not? Give something back. If you're liking it, do that. That helps. But that's it from this week. And I wish you a happy new year. And I hope you're kicking ass in 2017. January's a shitty month. But hey, there is not much left of it. There is, let me do the maths quickly. There is 27 days left in January. Yeah, that's all there is. Come on, we can do 27 days, less than a month. But that's it from now from the Comedy Defect Podcast. We'll see you next week for episode 29. Yes, 29. We're only at 30, guys. Thanks for listening. Happy New Year.